How is it possible that consumer spending remains robust in the face of rising inflation? That's the question that continues to baffle economists and market watchers alike. Despite the growing inflationary pressures, consumer spending in the United States has shown a surprising level of resilience, steadfastly defying the odds. So what's fueling this unexpected strength? First off, there's the pent-up demand factor. The pandemic led to postponed purchases, and now, with restrictions easing and economic recovery in full swing, consumers are letting loose their bottled-up desire to buy, particularly when it comes to durable goods like cars and appliances. Secondly, a substantial savings buffer accumulated by many households during the pandemic, thanks to stimulus checks and limited spending opportunities, is helping cushion the blow of rising prices. And finally, we're witnessing wage growth in certain sectors, especially blue-collar jobs. This is providing some consumers with a larger disposable income to counter inflation's impact. While this spending resilience brings certain benefits, it also carries potential pitfalls. So what are the implications of this robust consumer spending? Well, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. On one side, it's driving economic growth. That pent-up demand we mentioned earlier, it's fueling industries, creating jobs, and stimulating the economy. And that's great news. But let's flip the coin. This strong spending can also stoke the fires of inflation. Businesses seeing this high demand might raise their prices, triggering a cycle of escalating prices and wages known as an inflationary spiral. Another concern is the rise of credit card dependence. To keep up with their spending habits in the face of inflation, some consumers might be leaning on credit cards a bit too much. This could lead to a higher debt burden and financial strain if wage growth doesn't keep pace. And lastly, the savings buffer built up during the pandemic might be getting depleted. This could leave consumers vulnerable to unexpected financial shocks. The spending trend can be a positive force for economic growth, but it also raises concerns about future financial stability. How will this spending trend evolve in the face of potential policy changes? This is the question on many minds as we continue to navigate this economic landscape. One key player in this narrative is the Federal Reserve. To combat inflation, the Federal Reserve may decide to raise interest rates. While this move might help to cool the inflationary pressure, it could also slow down economic growth. Interest rate hikes usually make borrowing more expensive. As a result, businesses might postpone expansion plans or hiring, potentially leading to slower job growth. For consumers, higher interest rates could mean costlier mortgages and car loans, possibly causing some to tighten their belts. On the other hand, savers could benefit from higher interest rates, earning more on their deposits. But the question remains, will these potential gains be enough to counterbalance the pressures of inflation and maintain robust consumer spending? The current consumer spending trend is a fascinating economic phenomenon. It's a testament to the resilience of consumers, but also a reminder of the delicate balance of our economy.